Okay, step one is you gotta learn monthly listeners don't mean everything. I'll give you guys a good example. So, when Rich Amiri came to Vancouver, he had about 5 million monthly listeners, and he did the Hollywood Theater. But he was not able to sell it out until like the very last moment. But then again, you have someone like Stu Hollis come to Vancouver, who had way less monthly listeners, and he can sell at the Vogue Theater, which is double the capacity, in a week. And Rich Amiri couldn't even sell at the Hollywood in 4 months. So you might be wondering, that makes no sense. So we go into reason number 2. You gotta do your research about your artist coming to what city. So I'll give you an example. Rich Amiri had never been to Vancouver, hadn't done a show, hadn't done a pop-up, nothing. Stu Hollis came back in 2024 for the A Great Chaos show. Then he came back to Vancouver, did the Hollywood Theater on his own tour. So I knew Stu Hollis had already been here 2 times. He has a strong fan base. So when I saw that he was coming to Vancouver, I knew he could sell it out. Why? Because Vancouver knows him, Vancouver loves him, Vancouver cares about him, because they have a reason to care about him, because he's came. So when you have people like Soso Camo come to the Hollywood Theater, who has, again, more monthly listeners than Stu Hollis, and he can't sell at the Hollywood Theater, it's because Vancouver doesn't have a relationship with him. So you gotta make sure monthly listeners doesn't mean everything, and second of all, you gotta know the relationship. Third thing, you gotta do your research on why are they coming to your city. Is it because of a new album? 95% of the chance they're going on tour for their new album. You gotta do your research. Did people like that album? So I'll give you another example. Yeet is coming to Vancouver. He's doing the Peony Forum. Will he most likely sell it out? Yes. I'll get into that later. But his new album, it was more of a difficult listen. I'm gonna keep it a buck. And as a result, he's not able to sell it out as quick as he would if he would have dropped a 10 out of 10 album like 2 Alive. Shout out to Alive. Anyways, so do your research on why they're coming and what their catalog is currently. Fourth thing, just because an artist has a lot of love and they've been in the music game for a long time, does not mean they can easily sell it out. I'll give you an example. When Autumn came to Vancouver this year, he did the Hollywood Theater, and even though he technically sold it out at the very last minute, it wasn't like really sold out for those people who know who went to Autumn. Now, this is no hate to Autumn, but this is just facts. Now, if Autumn would have came in his prime, like 2021, 2022 main hype, he would have been able to do the Vogue Theater. So you gotta look at your artist and you gotta say, are they in their prime? Or are they, I'm not gonna use the word washed, but I'm gonna use the word washed. Another thing that's very important is you gotta take a look at pricing, how much the prices are. So I'll give you an example. Baby Keem is coming to Vancouver and he's doing the Peony Forum. And his tickets are about $120. Now, he hasn't sold out. And I guarantee you, if his tickets were $70, it would sell out. A lot of people might be thinking, well, that's just a $50 difference. It can't be that big of a deal. It really is. It can change a lot, especially when it's a venue that's not like Rogers Arena, BC Place. Number 5, and this one applies a lot more to Vancouver because this video is made for Vancouver because I'm trying to get my people rich. Look at who's promoting the show. If you have First Class promoting your show, it's probably going to sell out. They have an amazing track record. Osama-san, sold out. Che, sold out. Xavier So Based, sold out. The list goes on and on and on. First Class Festival is a very strong, rooted Canadian brand. Shout out Leo, shout out Jake, shout out Lucas, shout out my brothers. This isn't too much promo, but if they're doing a show, odds are they're selling out. Another example, Fang. They're doing Fang. Sold out Fang in like 2 days, like nothing. So you gotta make sure you know who the promoter is. If the promoter is like a random person, especially if they don't have a lot of experience, odds are they're probably not going to be able to sell it out. Number 6. This one isn't as important, but I would still say it's quite important. You gotta see who's opening for the show. So, when Rich Amiri came to Vancouver, he had Swampa opening. Shout out Swampa, did an amazing performance. And there was someone who went around and interviewed everyone, and everyone was there for Swampa. Now, not everyone, but a lot of people were there for Swampa. Like, I'll give you another example. Xavier So Based. When he came to Vancouver, sold out his show very fast. He had K-Suvi opening. He had Backend opening. He had DJ Renacy opening. These are all people who are very strong in the underground. And it gives people another reason to come to your show. if you have nobody opening, I'm not saying it can't be sold out for sure, because you look at people like Netspend, who sold out his show at the Vogue Theater pretty quickly, or you look at people like Osama-san, who sold out his show. I'm not saying it can't be done, but if you have a strong opener, odds are it'll be able to sell out a lot quicker. Okay, this is the last tip. This is what you do when you actually have the tickets and you're ready to sell them. So you can list them on Ticketmaster, StubHub, bunch of other places. Me personally, I recommend StubHub the most. That said, every website's going to charge you a bunch of fees. And a lot of the time, you don't get the money until like 2 weeks after the concert. So me personally, I try to sell most of my tickets directly to fans. And you're probably thinking, well, where do I meet these people in Vancouver? There are a bunch of GCs you can join. My friend Eugene has one for Vancouver concerts. I make a GC for most of these concerts that you can sell them in. The reason that I like selling it to other people more is because you just get the money right away. Now, you can definitely make more money on StubHub and these other websites, but a lot of the time they're going to be taking so much money in fees, and you're not going to get the money for so long. If you can actually find someone that you're going to sell the ticket to for about the same price you're selling on StubHub, I would absolutely recommend that over StubHub. That's just my opinion. And yeah, so I hope you guys can make some money off this. I've made some good money off this. None of this is financial advice. I'm a 16-year-old. Don't take my advice too seriously. I just love doing this because it's something that's great in the hobby. If you're an old man, please click off this video. This is made for kids. Like let kids get some money. And yeah, I love you, Vancouver, and I hope you guys can take some of my advice and be able to run up some money.